Hey guys, Ash here, Raid Shadow Legends. Welcome to the video. I am not alone today. I am thrilled to be joined by first-time guest. It is Bront Cat Herder. Bront, it's been a long time coming, man. We've actually been clanmates for a while, like 2 years now? I don't know.
Yeah, it's been 2 some odd years. I've been in the other Rise clan for a while too, and heck, I even run the second Rise clan, Risen from Kittens, which has been renamed because why not?
Why not, man? Why not? Well, I'm thrilled to have you on. You stream Raid Shadow Legends. You have a YouTube channel. You guys can see that on the screen right now. And I think we should be able to get you. What's your subscriber goal, man?
I would love to hit the 1,000 mark, become an official Raid content creator, and I'm halfway there. So it's I would love to.
Guys, let's get Bront to 1,000 subscribers. Come on, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's go! How would you characterize your? We're gonna talk. By the way, you're calling me out today, even though we have some friendly rapport. You're not gonna go easy on me here because you actually said. You took exception with some of the legendary champions that I've said are trash over the years. So you're here to call me out, give your best, explanation as to why I'm wrong, and then the viewers, they can be the jury. They can decide in the comments.
To get to go sit in an air-conditioned room downtown, judging people while my lunch is paid for, that is the life.
Give us a quick explanation. How long you've been playing Raid? What made you start uploading, man?
Well, I've been a Raid player for 3-ish years, and it's been a fun journey. And I know you're aware of some of this stuff too. I lost my voice a couple years ago, and actually couldn't talk for about 1.5 years, which was really kind of unfortunate. But the Raid community was so great, and I was helping streamers out. I was helping other people out with accounts, and basically, people told me, dude, you need to get streaming, you need to get content creating. You're helping so many people already just in the chat on Twitch. And so I pushed to do that even before I could talk. And community has been absolutely amazing. And honestly, I view it as a way to give back to the community more than anything else, because the Raid community is awesome. And Ash, you're definitely a reason that the Raid community is awesome. You just give a positive attitude, and it's just very inviting to be in Raid, and everyone's nice to everyone else. There's not a lot of the toxicity, and not a lot
man,
of
like. I appreciate it. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but thank you for the kind words. But seriously, you're super helpful. Like you're way more active and helpful to everybody in our clan family. So I'm really happy to have you on, man. Like it's my pleasure. And thank you though. To your point, like I don't know if it's the same in every clan family, but like we really lucked out, man. Like we have I don't like, knock on wood, but I don't think we've ever really had any like drama or anything really,
No,
all these years,
Hug it out, bitch. That is what men say to each other after a fight. They hug it out, and in doing so, they just let it go.
Got a lot of great people in that clan.
Shout out to the Rise fam.
Oh yeah. And the Kittens family is also great too. I mean, it was supposed to be the early
in
clan.
That clan? In the Kittens clan?
I lead it. My alt is actually the.
Do we have room? Are we recruiting or no?
I think we got a few people we could probably squeeze in there. But
all right, what's the clan name again?
That is Risen from Kittens.
Risen from Kittens. So what's up with the cat herder stuff? I got to ask, and then we'll get to the point here.
Two things from that. First of all, I'm a big IT guy, and I don't know if you recall, there's a Super Bowl video from way back, like pre-2000, I think, where there's a bunch of people herding cats across the fields, and it's actually a commercial about IT, because being an IT executive or being an IT manager is kind of like herding cats. You're trying to get a bunch of people who don't want to go the right direction, doing the same thing, doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Okay.
Where a lot of that goes. And then on top of that, a lot of it's Layla's got an animal theme going on, and I was a big fan of Layla, so I changed my name to Bront Cat Herder from just Bront, and it's kind of stuck. So.
Okay, sounds great. We need to get Layla back on the channel. It's been a million years. Okay, I digress here. I'm trying to run Kafru here in the arena right now. It's not going so well. By the way, I should say we're gonna do, I think, like underrated epics on Bront's channel as well, so you guys can go ahead and check that out. All right, man, Bront, let me have it, dude. Let me have it.
All right.
What? Yeah. Start with your least passionate. Like let's do the grand finale, the one that I'm the most wrong on. Let's do that last.
Well, I actually want to throw out, let's throw out an honorable mention first, because what's an Ash video without an honorable mention, right?
Indeed, right?
So Gamuran.
Okay.
Probably you're not going to see this one coming. But
no, I like this call out. To me, he's one of the most fascinating legendaries in the game.
He is so weird and
He's weird.
so yeah. Obviously, when Shadowkin was still being formed, he was great for Faction Wars because he was the reviver that you could use because it's passive. You know, you could get that cooldown to basically 1 turn. And if you did it right, you could actually have somebody die against the boss. And that's the stupid boss that ignores defense and does the 1-hit kill all the time. And so having the revive meant you could actually have somebody die on your team and still beat the boss and get the 3 stars because they would revive once you kill the boss.
Ooh, good call. That's a nice call out there. Have you been able to use him for any other area? And when I say use, I mean like not just to play around with. Like, has he made any of your main teams?
I don't know if he's made a lot of the main teams, but the other thing I used him for is his A2, not his A2, his A3. His A3 has actually got a really chunky heal. And what you don't think about it with is you're usually dealing with arena champions. You're thinking block revive, or you're thinking maybe he can do some decent damage. What he's actually good for is if you're struggling with waves. I had to do a Shadowkin only challenge for Doom Tower, for climbing Doom Tower. And he let me get all the way to floor 120 in Doom Tower because his chunky heal, 20% of the max HP of an ad on level 119 is a heal that brings everybody. That's a lot of HP. And it was a decent
call up, man.
So not going to say it's necessarily, again, he's not a great champion. He's really too weird to use. You know, you think about maybe the block revive might be useful in live arena, but he's so hard to set up. It's just not worth it for a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But, you know, I've got a booked one. I booked him before. I think I pulled him the weekend he was released and booked him to help some other folks for some videos and some other stuff. And, you know, he's been usable here and there for some stuff, but he's a decent support champion. If you need the massive heals, you can use him for the massive heals.
Absolutely, man. I've always thought that he's like a champion that I'd love to see a little buff too, just because he's really cool. He looks cool.
Looks don't matter when there's money coming in.
Looks matter.
His kid like could be cool. To your point though, it's just like, and he has the buff spread too, which is really cool. One thing I love about that guy, I'm just going to show your account right now. It's cool that we have like the little player profiles. I can actually pull your account up here in the background. You have Leo as your favorite champion. Is he really your fave?
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of it is you know, historical, but Leo was my first Void legendary.
Cool. Oh, congrats, man.
So
okay.
That was
so
awesome.
What was I going to say? One more thing. Oh, like looking again at Gamuran. I know he's just an honorable mention, so we'll move on here. But looking at him, like sometimes you build an arena team and that 4th position, like you have your nuke or you have your speed booster, you have your revive or whatever you're going for. Sometimes you have a kind of a flex position, right? And it's kind of nasty to like put the block revive on a Sun Wukong or something, you know? Like he could be annoying to face against, you know, as like a super off meta pick.
Yeah, and I think honestly the way that you would probably buff him is he's got this interesting buff spread. Lean into it. Let him spread more than just one buff, especially because he's stealing a bunch of random buffs from the enemy. Either let him steal more buffs or let him spread more buffs, or maybe just let him steal 2 or 3 buffs and he spreads every buff he steals.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
You know, still a lot of RNG, still a lot of, I don't know if it's going to work, but that just is so interesting. And I think that would be a lot of fun.
Me too, man. Me too. That's a cool call out for the first champ. I didn't see him coming, but I totally agree. Who you got next?
This is probably not as much of a call out, but I think this is a champion that gets overlooked an awful lot. Goffred Brassclad.
Oh yeah. I like Goffred, to be fair, but yeah, you're absolutely right.
You know, and here a lot of the thing is there's a lot of people that are here talking about him, or talking about Freya, I guess I should say, and ignoring Goffred, who's got a very similar passive.
Yes, the passive, very, very strong. The block damage, the stun, you know, like very, very useful here.
Yeah, I mean, I used him when I was trying to climb in Platinum before the Taurus Marichka stuff. And he was fun. I mean, to be fair, I had a 6-star blessing on him, so he was sheeping everybody too, which was part of why he was on my defense. But that block damage was hard to deal with. A lot of people didn't even know he had it, so it kept people by surprise. He actually can nuke pretty well too, so his A2 is really kind of nice. It's an AoE stun as well, actually, which is nice.
And he brings his own increased defense for more damage out of the A2. So yeah, it's definitely having those 3-turn stuns, man. There's still not that many champions in the game that have them, you know, like there's obviously Ragash and a couple others, but it's still pretty hard to find. So I totally agree with you.
Yeah, the only thing I think he does need is I think that A3 is just kind of weak.
It's kind of stupid. yeah. It does not feel very legendary like, does it? You know?
Whose side are you on?
And I don't know what to do other than maybe if it threw an extra turn on there. Then...
Or give, well, extra turn would be, the extra turn would be so broken because it kind of like Armanzi, he'd be going right back to that stun in 2 turns.
Oh yeah, it'd be a 2-turn cooldown on the stun.
Yeah,
yes, probably not. But you know,
I mean, hey, but you know what you could do is just like simply, instead of removing decreased defense and weaken, like you could either remove all debuffs and just make it a cleanse, or you could just add a strength into it, you know, like just give him a little bit more survivability out of that, you know?
Yeah, or even, I mean, heck, you can put block damage on one target champion, and that would lead into the rest of his kit pretty well too, actually.
Yeah, no, for sure. Okay, so get to the call-outs, Brunt. Let me have it, man.
All right.
Let me have it.
You're looking for the call-outs.
Yeah, I want you to call me out. Put me in my place.
All right, we're going to go hard for this one here. Grohak the Bloodied.
Okay, all right, now we're getting to it. I hate Grohak, man. Tell me why I'm wrong. Tell me why I'm wrong. Tell me why, you know, this guy isn't a combination of, I don't know, Shield Guard or somebody else.
No, well, I mean, maybe he's a combination of Shield Guard. If I haven't played with Shield Guard too much. But first of all, his aura, especially for progression, and I think this really is the case, is some of this is, you know, and you'll admit to this too, you call out some of these champions as absolutely horrible, but if this was your first legendary, he would be amazing on your account. He'd be amazing on anybody's account for the first legendary. So that's kind of where you're coming from with this stuff. I do takeovers for folks, and I did a takeover as somebody where Grohak was one of his first champions, and Grohak changed this dude's account. The speed in dungeons, speed kills in raid, it's awesome. You got the A3 where you attack when enemy steals their turn meter, places a 25% weaken if the attack is critical. He actually hits for some decent amount of damage, and you know it's a 4-turn cooldown, but it's an enemy steal target turn meter. That's huge. He's got the A3 or the A2 where attacks all enemies. Critical hits fill this champion's turn meter by 20%. Well, if that is 5 people he's attacking, you just put 100% turn meter back on this champion with that. It hits reasonably hard. It's not a end game nuke, but you can use him as a wave clear nuker. You can use him to help with the wave clear. And the fact that he gets this ability, then he can get right back around to that other turn meter steal. He's just constantly taking turns and constantly going. And then he's got an A2, or a 2, not A2, but a single hit. It's not a single hit either. That's a double hit.
Is that, but it's that weird A1, like the random.
It's the weird A1. Yeah. But it is but this is a Fire Knight skill. This is a Fire Knight champion.
Yeah.
Get yourself 2-hitter through the shield, decrease speed, always great against Fire Knight. And then you've got the turn meter steal. Now it's not Fire Knight hard, which of course is where he's probably gonna get overlooked as well. But you could do a lot worse than having a Grohak the Bloodied heading your Fire Knight normal 25 team. Not a problem.
Okay, so first of all, I totally see and understand and agree with your point of like beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? Like, and depends on where you are in your account, what you need on your account, how you build a certain champion, the gear, the other champions. Like, there's a lot of factors, and there's very few champions in raid, especially legendary, that are just like so bad that like no one could get anything out of them. So I totally agree with you on all that stuff. But with Grohak specifically, I used to kind of like him too, because I think I pulled him early on my account, right? But then the more I thought about it, like, it's not that he's bad. I don't think, and they did a good job buffing him. Like, well, they didn't do a great job. I think they need to go a lot further, but they did give him 2 buffs, I want to say, throughout the years. They changed the big version, or they added the weekend, I want to say, and they reworked a little bit of the A1 or something. Either way, he originally just depleted turn meter, and that they changed to steal on the A3, which
steal,
to your
and
point,
I think they also gave him like 8 points of speed. I think he used to be like 80.
Okay, so he's 96 right now, so he used to be like in the 80s or something. So they're working on him, but I still think there's a little bit of ways to go, because although I don't think he's absolutely trash, I just think he feels very epic like to me, you know, like You know, I mean, even a champion like, I don't know, what's his face? Maneater.
Why are you including me in this?
Sorry, I'm not, like, even a champion like Maneater, like, he's got a steel turn meter on a 3-turn cooldown, not a 5-turn, you know? Doesn't have the weaken, you know?
I mean, honestly, if all they did is they dropped that turn meter down from a 4-turn to a 3-turn, he's probably good enough. He's still not going to be clean, but
I agree. Like, he can definitely serve some utility, right? There's no doubt about that. So fair call out for number 1. Who else you got? Or number 2? Or number 3?
Somewhere around there. We're no one's counting at this point.
No one's counting. Who you got next?
And this is probably one that one that just probably not one you've actually said is bad, but one of the ones that I think it's way overlooked that I had to use them recently in a takeover. Crypt-King Graal got a buff and is absolutely amazing now, and I think that people kind of forget about it because he used to be absolute trash.
Yeah. No. Yeah, you're right. I have not talked smack before other people agree, but why do you like him?
Well, you got the A2 burn, which is great, you know, and that's usable in all kinds of areas of the game. Attacks all enemies as well. It does need books, but, you know, who doesn't need books in this game? But it's that A3 that partners with his A2 that makes him so useful in a lot of stuff. The fact that you've got a freeze that is, I believe, the HP, it's the HP burn increase can't be resisted. But basically, he'll burn everybody on the 1, he'll freeze everybody and increase the burn to 3-turn cooldown on the second ability. So you get not only an additional turn of, I can do whatever I want to before the enemies can go, but they're also going to be burning for that much longer before anything else. And then finally, a reasonable, reliable A1 decrease attack. Not, you know, it's not necessarily a kit that screams, this is the best ever. But, I mean, for Faction Wars, Crypt-King carried an account that did not have a reviver through Faction Wars 21 when I had to manual it, and he was so good. He actually counters the Valks fairly well because he's constantly freezing the Valks.
Yeah.
And then you get all the burns. The burns are a great way to keep damage and pressure on the Valks as well. He's even got a decent aura, 33% HP in all battles. It's not just like your first choice because honestly, speed's really what you usually are looking for first. Yeah. You know what? No one's going to complain about 33%. Oh, darn, I had to settle for 33% more HP in battles. You know,
Indeed. And 33%, I mean, is significant. You know, sometimes I'll use a defensive aura, or like in the arena, for example, you know, when I don't have speed available in live arena, I'm saying when I get banned, right? But like, you know, when you think about it, it's still very significant. You know, 33%, you know, this guy's rocking close to 20k HP. You're getting 6,000 HP, 7,000 HP extra.
Oh, yeah.
That is very solid. And to your point, I think that Crypt-King is a very, very competent burner. Maybe I disagree on Grohak, but I absolutely agree with you on Crypt-King.
We're all in this together.
Who's next?
Alrighty. So we're going to go for Black.
Don't say LEGGOS, man.
I'm not
Okay. All right.
Black Knight.
Black Knight. Okay. All right.
You know, and again, Black Knight's more of a specialist champion than anything, but I think first of all, Black Knight, everyone knows him for his passive, which is one of the most annoying things to come across in the waves.
Indeed.
Just unkillable on the waves. So annoying, Polarium. But, you know, at least you got to wait for his turn to be done, and then you can get back to him. But if you got a tough turn meter control, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've got stopped on a wave where he is in Faction Wars because I've got too much turn meter control, and I can't get through the stupid unkillable. So
we've all been there, right, Brong? Like, have you've like put your phone down or your PC on auto or something, and you're like, okay, I must be cooking, and you come back, and it's like you're 10 minutes attacking Black Knight or whoever, Paragon or whatever, you know? Like, come on.
What do you mean I ran out of terms on, you know, L's Faction Wars, you know?
Exactly. But the lower visor too is pretty cool ability on the 2-turn, you know?
Oh yeah, that's the 2-turn, even a 3-turn. And that's the thing. You can actually use Black Knight for high functionality without being
unbooked.
You know, 3-turn cooldown on that is still good. I mean, increased defense, continuous heal is no one's writing home about that, but still, you know, again, early folks, you get that. That's actually good in Clan Boss, keeps your team alive. Increased defense could be great. He does have the A3, which is okay. They finally buffed it to do damage based on HP, so that's kind of nice.
How is it? I've not tried it since that buff to Last Breath. It was always super underwhelming to me.
I've never built him to nukes, so I've never actually seen. But really, I would just turn that off and use his A1. Because A1 is just so good. 75% chance to place a provoke. Obviously, that's been power crept at this point in time. But You know, it's an A1 75% chance to provoke. You need a emergency provoke in Hydra. Hey, you can do worse than Black Knight. You know, you need somebody for Magma Dragon. Magma Dragon, I have had Black Knight in my team for Magma Dragon.
Magma's
and never bothered taking him out because, you know, why not?
To your point, I mean, he's built for Magma Dragon as a great support. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then again, Magma Dragon comes back to the unkillable. He happens to get one too many hits. He's got the unkillable. So Magma Dragon's not going to kill him anyway. So.
Okay. Yeah, that absolutely agree with you. I'm gonna build him to test out Last Breath just to see if he's got anything in him. I'm skeptical, but I'll probably end up doing what you recommended and shutting it off.
Yeah.
Who you got next, Bront?
All right. So all right. So this is gonna be the final one here.
Ooh, and this is the big one.
Yo, this is the big one.
All right, all right.
And again, I don't think this champion is amazing, but this champion changed my account for the better, and there's some history on that as well. Okay. Roric Wyrmbane.
Oh, yeah, you did hit on a guy that I don't like that much. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I like him better than Raf Matab, though. I don't know. Maybe not. No, I like him worse than Raf Matab. Okay,
Raf Matab looks like he's got a kit that if they could figure out how to tweak a thing or two should be better. Roric probably needs a rework to be really relevant.
What the hell is going on?
Wait, you're supposed to be Team Roric, Bront. Come on.
Oh, I am Team Roric here.
All right.
But here's the thing. What I did,
Raf, by the way, A3, just bring it down one turn. There we go. Done. All right. Roric.
But yeah, Raf with that. But Roric's got the ally speed aura on all battles. Okay. And that A2 with the 80% turn meter decrease, which really should be 100. That's really my big complaint on him. But the one person drops turn meter, everyone else gets stunned, is great for control. And what I used him for, which is part of why I'm probably a little more fond of him than maybe I should be, but again, I'm Team Roric here. So I used him to manually climb to my first Doom Tower win. And he was the lead on the team because they had the speed aura. Mm-hmm. He was built as a support champion, not as a damage dealer. And I think that's really the problem with this kit, is his kit screams damage dealer. And if they made him a defense-based champion and swapped some of the stuff around so he had better defense than attack, and he suddenly is tanky and can take some of these hits, because what's the point of an attack hitter that's counter-attacking? It just seems kind of weird. But his A1 is actually super nice, especially if you book him. And to be fair, I booked him because the way my account worked, I started right around when Ninja, got a Ninja, and Roric was the first fusion I ever completed. So for a while, my legendaries were Roric and Ninja, and I had nothing else for ages and ages and ages. So I finally broke down and booked Roric. He actually works really well on Fire Knight because he's got a 2-hit A2 or A1. He's got the counterattack, so if you build this with counterattack, that's nice. The shield comes back up. He gets some additional damage with the counterattack, but the damage is not really there. But those stuns
for a skill that ignores 50% of defense with a 1641 base attack, you'd think he could hit hard, you know? To your point. But anyway, I digress.
Yeah. But really, and on top of that, he's immune to stun debuffs and deals more damage to bosses and receives 15% less from them. So he's actually kind of tanky against bosses. So when you're struggling to get stuff done, Roric was absolutely amazing. And on top of that, if I hadn't built Roric, and to be fair, if I hadn't built him for damage, I probably would have struggled a lot more on Barbarian's Faction Wars when I did, because basically I pulled Sierra, still I finished Faction Wars, but I finished Faction Wars because Roric was the only one that could actually do damage on my team. Otherwise, Syl wasn't doing a lot of damage, Haikatoon wasn't doing a lot of damage, War Maiden wasn't really doing a lot of damage, and I think I had, what's her name? Skytouch Shaman, I think was the last one.
Sure, yeah.
So I had no damage on this team, and it probably would have been fine unless it would have hit the turn limit. But Roric actually did enough damage that he sped it up quite a bit for a while. And he was a member of my Doom Tower hard climbing team back when I had to do a lot of the manual work. The big problem with him is he does really need to be manual, because that A2, again, great for doing turn meter, but on automatic, they're not going to target the right champion. They're going to target whoever they feel needed to target.
Yeah. So you're not going to land the stun. Okay.
Yep.
All right. First of all, have you tried him? Like, the first thing that gets my attention is, honestly, I used him after I fused him, and then I was like, he's not for me, right? So I have very limited experience with Roric, and I've never done a guide on him on my guides channel yet. So maybe I will, and I'll give you a big shout out when I do. My question to you, though, is, have you tried him like as an I don't know, like an anti-Armons or something. I mean, the immune to stun is compelling, you know?
That's a thought.
Yeah.
I mean, you could certainly build him super fast as an anti-Armon. The problem that you're going to have with an anti-Armons is he still gets the turn meter loss, so he still loses all his turn meter.
True.
And that's really the problem with Armons. Armons
You're right.
does the stun and the turn meter steal. It's just so hard to counter him from that end.
And it's not like, and he's Spirit Affinity, so it's not like, okay, if he was Force, you could be like, okay, maybe you get that weak hit, and then he can't, he's immune to the stun. Maybe, you know, I don't know. But you're right. It's just like, I don't know. I'm with you, man. I think they should rework this guy to be HP or defense based. He's so squishy. 14k HP and 969 on the defense. I hear you, man. I hear you because, first of all, you always remember somebody who helped you out in your account. Like, my guy is biggin, you know? Like, not to say he's bad, but he's not seen as an elite S-tier champion. But he's seen a lot better than Roric, probably, to be fair. But, like, he carried my account because I got him in the early game. And that's to your point earlier, that any champion can help out anybody depending on where they are.
Did we just become best friends? Yep.
But I just don't know if I could see myself putting books into this dude. But then again, if it wasn't, to your point, if it wasn't for that stupid 80%, you wouldn't really need to, would you?
Yeah,
on the A2.
I mean, and it's not just that. It's the fact that it only steals 75% turn meter and then has the stun. So the 80%, you certainly need the books in there.
Yeah.
But on top of that, the needing to get the stun, you need to drop the turn meter of somebody else by 100% to get the stuns on everyone else.
Yeah.
And that's really kind of, it's both the blessing and the curse of it. Because if you do it, you've controlled an entire wave by stunning one person. And if you don't, then this skill was practically useless, which I guess is really where it is. So if this was a 100% turn meter steal, and then had the thing, if it fully depletes a turn meter, so basically you have to land the turn meter steal to do the stun, which, you know, fine.
Yeah.
That would certainly help as well. Defense base would make him hit so much harder. And honestly, now we've got these revenge accessories, which make it a little bit better. They buffed counterattack gear, so counterattack gear is actually better to put on him. You could do some fun stuff with the counterattack and get that scale breaker to actually do something a little more interesting.
Yeah.
You know, or maybe even now they've actually got some champions that now chip away at defense. So make scale breaker an actual scale breaker. Make it drop the target's defense by 10%.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea on the block defense, and it fits with the kit. To your point, you know how Ashwalker, do you know Ash? I'm personally a big fan.
Yeah, I know he's your favorite champion.
Do you know that rare champion? It's my favorite guy. The thing is I would kind of like Roric's A2 if it worked the inverse of, like, similar to the Devastator on Ashwalker, which, like, I think he should attack an enemy, land a stun. If he lands the stun, then all other enemies get a 75% turn meter decrease, you know? But then it wouldn't work as well against bosses either. It wouldn't work against bosses, you know? I don't know. Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a way to...
Well, to be fair, it's not like they haven't done a boss doesn't do the schedule a different way too. So you can actually do the boss where the boss is actually, if it's a boss, it just drops the turn meter by 75%. Boom, done.
Yeah, you could get rid of the conditionality of the if this then that, like just do both straight up.
Yeah, both,
you know?
yeah, straight up. Because I mean, there's champions out there that do, if it's a boss, it lands this debuff instead.
Correct. So, yeah. To me, I hear you, man. Like, I hear you how you can get utility out of this. Dragon Rage is not a bad ability, but, like, man, he doesn't feel very legendary to me still, you know. But you know what? I want to be fair. And I'll give him a try. I'll build him and I'll give him a guide soon. I'll try him out and see, because maybe I would be impressed. I have heard, to your point, I've heard from people in the comments whenever I talk smack about Roric that really are in the Roric fan club, just like you are. So
yeah, I mean,
yeah,
a lot of it too is situational use. I mean, if you're, especially now we've got Centranos, there's some Centranos for us where I break Roric out because I've already got him booked.
You're right.
I've mostly got him built.
Yeah.
And hey, it gives me some wave control and stuns. It actually is great. And for the most part, I can automatically run Roric on most of those floors without a problem because Roric. So.
No, I completely agree. And I'm looking here like at my old Roric build too. And I clearly built him. I went Helm Smasher. So I clearly built him just to take advantage of that A3, you know, like I was just wondering, how hard can he nuke? And I was probably let down, and I probably was like, into the trash bin you go, buddy.
And it's really the case of, if you look at some of these older champions, the focus isn't focused. So Roric isn't a focused champion, and that's part of what makes him bad as well. He's got a damage ability, and he's got 2 control abilities, and then he's got an anti-control passive that does extra damage.
Yep.
Which way do you want him to go, player?
Yeah, right. Right. You know? Make a decision. Lean into it. Let's do it. Hey, any others? Was he the final?
That was the final one I had.
All right, man. Well, let's go collab on your channel, talk about some epics, and they can catch us over there and get Braun to 1,000 subscribers. Braun, it's been fun to have you on. Call me out a little bit. Talk about some unsung legendary champions. Thanks so much for coming on, man. Best of luck for the channel. I'm sure you're going to be successful, man. You have a lot of good ideas and you have a strong knowledge of the game. So thanks for coming on, man.
Hey, I appreciate it, dude. You take care.
All right, take care, guys. Thank you for watching all the way till the end.